What's going on? It's the Rap Nerd, and the Oscars have finally wrapped, and I'm still celebrating because this is monumental what just happened tonight. First of all, horror is here to stay, and we have now become great contenders moving forward. Now, if you're kind of lost and you don't know what happened, it was a big night for horror with, of course, Sinners, Frankenstein, and Weapons. Three movies that are undoubtedly horror movies that all won Oscars and pretty major awards too. This has definitely turned me around with Oscars, especially to give it more attention than I have, because one of my beasts with the Oscars has always been their treatment of genre film. They just act like these movies aren't good enough to be mentioned in the same spaces, which I don't believe even back when. I think there always have been movies that are deserving to be in the same spots, but now it's damn near undeniable because of what all the new artists, like the people in these films, have done. And I want to start there because really I'm mentioning Weapons having Amy Madigan win supporting actor for Weapons. That's crazy to me because I thought she did an amazing job watching the movie. That was one of my favorite films of the year, if I'm not mistaken. That was my second favorite movie. No, my third favorite movie behind The Black Phone. But technically I think Weapons is a better movie than Black Phone. Just has the vibes that I like. But she won Best Supporting Actor playing Aunt Gladys, and her role was fantastic. And it's just crazy that Zach Cregger came out of nowhere, in the 2020s, releasing two movies, and his second film is nominated for an Oscar. That says a lot about the genre and where we can go from here. That is a major thing. Then of course we have Del Toro's Frankenstein, who pretty much won Atmosphere with all of the awards for Best Makeup, Best Production Design, and Best Costumes. And that is the embodiment of what horror can do on a big budget, is building these massive worlds that are believable, rich in texture, all due to the creators at play. Because I think horror, in my honest opinion, is a creative playing field where their creativity can just go crazy. And Frankenstein, to me, is a version of that. And that's why I've always respected Del Toro as well, because he has always been a horror director to me, and he has always put it at front and center in all his movies, and he's been discussed in mad Oscar awards and even won some. So it's no mystery that his film got nominated and actually won again. But I just respect the hell out of him always for bringing horror to the awards because of how he delivers it. And then of course we gotta get to my favorite film of the decade, Sinners. And if you saw my video, or if you didn't, I put one out last month talking about the awards that I think Sinners will win, and I was right about all of them. Sinners took home the best cinematography, Sinners took home the best original screenplay, the best original score, and best lead actor, with Michael B. Jordan winning for playing Smoke and Stack. That is a very big deal for a number of reasons. This is history right here. For one, having Sinners win the cinematography is one for the books and one that cannot be dismissed at all. I called it. I said the fact that they went into a whole spiel about why you should see it in IMAX and all these different type of aspect ratios, it's gonna win that. Because I remember reading reports about Ryan Coogler doing his tutorial about the different ways to see it actually spiked tickets in IMAX sales. And I know for a fact that has to be brought into consideration here. And even more history making, having the first woman won, and having the first woman of color, period, win the Best Cinematography Award. That is... So big shout out to Autumn Arlen Archipel as the cinematographer for Sinners. She is trailblazing, and she will not be the last, but just the fact that she's the first one on a movie like this just speaks volumes to where the industry is heading, and I love it. And then you have Best Original Score with Ludwig, which is a guy who's not even from America. He's from overseas, which is another market that gets overlooked in regards to awards for cinema. So for him to even get yet another award with Ryan Coogler says a whole lot about Ryan's direction. And as I said, I think it's undeniable that Ryan won Best Writer for Original Screenplay. I knew if anything, this was the one that Sinners was definitely gonna win. And then we gotta move on to the real major one with Michael B. Jordan winning Best Lead Actor for Sinners. Man, when he won, I literally was doing that sequence from Jordan Peele's Nope with Daniel Kaluuya and Keke Palmer doing the fast dap. I was literally doing that to the couch like an outstanding win, very well deserved, and I don't think anyone can deny that, even though you'll have some out there. But Mike's performance was definitely the best of 2025 without a single doubt. And him winning this at such a young age, man, the sky's the limit now. His price done changed. Like what Fat Joe said on that joint, yesterday's price is not today's price. This is Oscar winning Michael B. Jordan. So talk to him nicely. And with Sinners, right, all of these awards being won, what it says to me is this is what being a writing director is about. Yeah, I would have liked Ryan to win Director of the Year or even Best Picture, but the fact that his work can boost the people who work on the films to this level is what being the director is all about, because the director is always the lead of the movie. Everything falls on the director, from the way things look, the control, the directions. They're the guide, and they give so much to the director. And I feel like when these people who are part of the film receive these awards, it's just kind of like the director and writer giving back to them. And I love that aspect of it. And honestly, this really puts a battery in my back to get working on my own stuff, because just seeing all of these accolades and all of these things fall in place, history making for Ryan, a black man, creating an original story while also being clear about his inspirations on it, because I don't think he's ever denied where inspiration has come from. He's been upfront with it, but it just shows that as filmmakers and writers, people who are on the come up, who are our age, it's okay to be inspired by other works. It's all about how you put yourself into the movie. And I think that's what makes Sinners so great, because yeah, you can recognize it with other films like Salem's Lot or even Dusk Till Dawn, but ultimately the spirit of blues and the South and the culture of black people just make it its own thing. And I feel like that's a door that Ryan opened for everybody else to walk through. And when they get in through the door, they can make their own paths for people behind them as well. So it's super motivating to see such a masterful work be recognized in this way. And again, like I mentioned, these three movies all being horror films just has me elated, because the way that these movies are getting their accolades and their recognition is how I've always seen horror films, and that's why horror is my favorite genre and always will be. It is a canvas for creatives, and that is why so many people want to get into the genre and at least do one, because there's just so many things that you can say and do in this genre that you just can't do in any other one. You know, when you go to these fan events, these festivals, these expos, genre films are the lead for that. And they're often looked at as just entertaining and mindless properties. And yeah, you do have that with some of these things, but the majority are not that. And these three movies delivered to let any naysayer know otherwise. So that's all I got. I just wanted to talk about the recap of these three because of how much they mean to me as a fan of the horror genre and somebody who wants to also be a writing director in the genre. I am hyped. The battery's in my back to get going, and I'm just excited about the future of where movies can go. So let me know in the comments what other awards had you thoroughly excited. And I want to take a moment too to shout out everybody else who did win as well. I don't want to take away from anybody else's films or any awards. I think that it's excellent that all of these films are recognized for being so great, and they're deserving as well. So anyway, if you like this kind of content, make sure to like and subscribe. And if you already are subscribed, thank you so much. And until next time, peace.
Rap Nerd Productions, no capping, that's word to mommy. Instead of banking on it, now rapping is just a hobby.